Kyle Monangai, Rutgers running back, 5'8", 211 pounds, 9-inch hands. He's 23 years old. He just turned 23, like this month. So a little on the older side.
A little bit
on the older side. In the 40, he ran 4.6 flat. He had a 1.54 10-yard split and a 117-inch broad jump, 34.5-inch vertical. Last year at Rutgers, he had 256 carries, 1,279 yards, 13 touchdowns, 14 receptions, 75 yards, and an additional touchdown. And he was running behind the 9th best run blocking offensive line at Rutgers. So very talented guys there.
Yeah, but that guy was some nice tape, kind of like right behind Damian Martinez. You know what I mean? Like I like Martinez's tape better, okay. but Nangai fits right into that bill, right? Like they're there in that same tier. I mean, he's a compact dynamo,
yeah,
like a nice little running back.
5'8", 211,
bowling ball.
dude. That is
bowling ball.
That's rocked up, man.
I love it.
And he goes from slow to sudden, like quickly. In open field, he's nice. Like he's a nice running back. Like he has some acceleration there. Shows a little bit of open field elusiveness out there. Mm-hmm. Like you watch him. Like I watched him against Michigan State this year. Like he was stacking lateral jukes. Like he was out there.
He's really impressive laterally. I like this guy.
His hips, like for a guy of his size, like he has really nice hips. Outside of like Quinshon Junkins has tight hips. If Quinshon Junkins had Monangai's hips, like he might be running back 2 overall.
He'd be the Manungai.
He'd be the Manungai. So, he's kind of like that, early down, first, second down running back. Ball security. I don't think he even fumbled.
He did not have a single
fumble. Yeah. Like
not one.
Not one single fumble his entire career.
Over 650 rushing attempts.
Really no injuries either.
No.
So, but again, 5 years, he caught 38 balls in 5 years. So he's a 23-year-old running back
that fantasy
that doesn't catch footballs. But again, he's an NFL back. Like he's a solid running back, but he really falls like everything I just said. And I leaned up on Dave Martinez. Like I'm real worried about his fantasy relevance. Like he needs an injury ahead of him, and for him to get 20, 25 carries a game to be the guy, like to be relevant. But like he's capable though. Like he's
a good score.
He's capable of doing it. I mean,
both of us.
He got good scores from us. Yeah.
The way at his size, the way he's able to make cuts and juice and slash and move in the open field is really impressive.
He is. I mean, he is really impressive laterally. I think that's kind of that, and his quickness are his things. I don't think he has enough speed, right? But I think he is still a quicker.
He's definitely limited.
He's a quicker than fast guy.
Yeah,
you know
he's
what I mean?
not stretching the field. That's a perfect way to say it. Quick, not fast.
Yeah. So I think he's going to be limited to, like you mentioned, Rich,
speed brick,
a grinder and a bowling ball type of guy. But there's a place for that on certain teams. I don't know what that equates to from fantasy purpose. Like you mentioned, Rich, I think he's got to be a high volume type of guy. And it's not like he's out there scoring 15, 20 touchdowns a year, even in college. This past year was 13, which is great. But I think he's going to be a guy that relies on lots of volume, and it's going to have to be like a crazy touchdown season for him to be like a running back 1. So I think he's going to live mostly in RB2 type of territory if he gets a job and is like able to hold on to it.
So Manungai was I have a type. I have a type.
Dang it. I bought the shirt too early.
Manungai fits that type. Like, and I think
Ali.
Well, more the Javante,
okay, type.
That type.
Did I get you a Rasheen Ali shirt?
No, it was you got me a Trey Benson cart.
Oh yeah,
that's what it was. But with Kyle Manungai, I fully admit that I think he's a day 3 guy.
Yeah.
I know that he has limited athleticism, and there's still quite a bit to be desired in the receiving game.
Quite a bit.
That being said,
let's touch on the receiving, because he was only basically used on checkdowns, right?
Right.
And that was it.
That was it.
Not utilized whatsoever.
Yeah. So we'll see.
Yeah.
I mean, we've seen guys before that are not used at all in that capacity, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, maybe they can.
And to be fair on that too, because of that, like there's no pass protection to even really watch on film.
They have no quarterback, dude.
No.
Their quarterback was so bad.
It was pretty bad. all of that being said, I love this guy's tape.
Me too.
I loved this guy's tape. So he is one of those players that he fights and claws and kicks and punches and bites and whatever he has to do to gain an extra like 3 inches. Like he will do whatever he has to do to gain extra yards. And there were times I swear he would take on like 5 defenders and he still would refuse to go out of bounds, would still refuse to go down. And like those little things, like even though those don't necessarily equate to fantasy success, I love watching guys like that. I remember just when I was watching him play, I was reminded of guys like Kyron Williams and guys like Bucky Irving. Now they're pass catching, so that's a little bit different, but they were in a similar mold where they're not these like 6 foot tall, 225. They were underwhelming at the combine. Both guys didn't perform super well there. They weren't super explosive, super bursty, but they were both football players that had really good vision and just did everything right. He's, from all accounts, he was a coach's dream. Like he was the guy that was in there all the time, pushing his teammates to do more, working harder than everybody else. Like he was a coach's dream. And so for me, when I look at other players that are kind of the outlier types, if there was one guy that was an outlier type that I would be willing to bet on in this class, it would be Manungai. Still knowing that 9 times out of 10 is a losing bet. But if I had to pick one, it would probably be Manungai. So nerd score wise, he got a really good score for me. He got a 73.23.
Oh, wow.
But like I said, I would move him down a good 4 or 5 spots if I had to rank them. So that's where it came down to for me. I forgot to mention his vision. I was in love with his vision, tied for one of the highest scores in the class. So loved his vision, thought he was a very patient runner. And then we talked about that quickness as well. Jared, I know you had
73.28.
Okay, so yeah, we were
like
almost identical.
Yeah, and just the guys that he's around all time, nerd score wise, there's some good names. Kenneth Walker, Kendre Miller, which whatever. Travis Etienne, Cam Akers, a couple other guys from this class, Bigsby. So I mean,
see, and this is where like, again, this what I would say like, and I'm excited about the nerd score plus.
Because he'll move a lot in the nerd score plus.
Yeah, because again, I could see him graying out well on the nerd score. It kind of falls out the same thing. If you're going to draft him, he grades out well. Like if I had to put like something on a T-shirt for him, it'd say grinder, not playmaker.
Yeah. And that's perfectly fair. And it's funny because the next guy we're going to talk about is like almost the opposite, where like this guy, I love his floor. I love everything that he does right. The next guy, I'm more infatuated with his ceiling. And so that's the hard part in all of these. You throw all this into a stew and you got to come out with a number and you got to come out with an evaluation. And sometimes it truly is like, how much do you value their ceiling? How much do you equate for potentially getting better? Like all of those kinds of things.
I did see him make a really nice catch, like outside his body against Illinois.
I think,
and then he
could.
He juked.
I gave him a 7 for
he
receiving,
juked the
'cause
player
I
and got
thought-
8 yards afterwards. Like,
dude, I mean, when I was watching their tape, the defenses just knew he was getting the ball. Like there
no
was
other
no
options.
threat of running, like of passing. So they were just stacking the box, and he was making plays like this. I loved watching this tape.
And they ran a ton of inside zone. He had 203 zone runs against only 52 gap runs. So to be able to get, I think, almost 1,300 yards and you're running, grinding in the inside, and you're having to find creases in this line that's kind of moving, like that does speak to vision. That does speak to kind of want to and stuff like that. So I think, there is a lot there to like about Monangai.
I gave him an 8.5 for contact balance. His contact balance was so good, and then he was hyper explosive, even though his top end speed isn't great, but he's just like pop. Like
he's very sudden.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's a good word for that. Yep.
All right. So Manungai, we all like him.
We're all a Manungai.
The question is, what is the real ceiling? That's the question.
Let's wait and see what his draft.
And for me, again, as much as you love him, I'm gonna pump the brakes on that.
Yeah,
that's fair.
Got to.
And I
In a class
can't
like
blame
this-
anyone for that.
Yeah.
One bit.
But again, it goes back to, and that's why I had it when I know we were talking about Damon Martinez. I know Monangai was next, so I had to say, like, listen, guys,
All right.
people are going to talk about this class like it's amazing with these grades, and this is why, because the players like Monangai, but from a dynasty,
They don't typically
yeah,
translate.
it's a little, it's diluted.
They can't
We're
always.
gonna lose
They
about
can't all
we're
hit.
losing about 10 to 15 guys because of that.
They
For
can't
what
all hit.
No, they can't. For what it's worth, I like Monangai more than Martinez.
Yeah,
I did as well.
Yeah,
He's-
I think
yeah.
I feel like you guys had that as well.
Okay, that's fair.
It's really going to be interesting to fall out.
They're very close to me. I might like Martinez just a hair more because of the upside. In the
He's a little bigger,
Yeah.
a little more.
But yeah, I mean, those guys are literally. It's like what's the cereal where they're different colors but they all have the same taste?
Oh,
Like Fruit Loops,
Tricks.
I think, or something along those lines.
Yeah.
Like they're different colors, but they all have the same taste.
Yeah.
Like he's just
The
another.
the red M&M versus the green one.
Yeah, it's just
Put
same thing.
Put Manungai in a Browns uniform, man. I would love to see. him.
I'd love to see-
Come on, I want guys I want to put on my fantasy roster.